The whiskey twirled inside the glass as I rested in my favorite leather chair. The soft glow of the fireplace painted shifting amber shadows across the study. Margaret's voice carried through the phone, her tone dripping with disdain and self-pity. She ridiculed me again, her words sharp and cutting. "Honestly, Robert, you're insufferable," she scoffed. "You don't even mind that I'm not coming home tonight. Walter clearly doesn't miss me either. Maybe I'll just stay with him a little longer." I gazed at the flames, their warmth a harsh contrast to the cold emptiness that had settled in my chest long ago. Her words, once capable of fueling rage, now barely stirred me. Walter's name, the man she had chosen to betray me with, was no longer a knife but a dull sting, one I had learned to endure. Raising the tumbler to my lips, I drew a slow sip and exhaled. "Why not take a few extra days like last time?" I replied evenly, my voice wrapped in indifference. "There's no urgency to return to a hollow marriage when your lover is waiting." Heavy silence lingered before I ended the Her response, or lack thereof, only cemented the determination I had been quietly building for weeks. The signs of her disloyalty appeared gently at first. Late nights explained with weak excuses. A sudden stream of costly clothes she claimed were discounts, the constant presence of her phone always turned face down. Then came the smiles, those private, glowing ones she wore while typing, fingers dancing across the screen. The truth emerged the night her tablet buzzed on the counter. "Preview from Walter lit up. Asterisk looking forward to our weekend. I booked the suite." Asterisk when I challenged her, her fury burned sharp and defensive. She wove a net of excuses, but I refused to be dragged into her storm. Saved the message, inhaled deeply, and began my plan. Patience, I always said, outlasts anger. Over the following weeks, I gathered proof with precision. Dinner receipts, travel bookings, photographs from a private investigator. Walter, a smooth yet unremarkable property dealer with a reputation for affairs, was merely another mark in Margaret's history. Neither of them knew I had already begun unraveling their world in silence, with a few quiet whispers and carefully leaked papers. I planted doubt among Walter's partners. His polished image began to crack. Margaret stayed unaware, emboldened by what she thought was my apathy. Never realized I had already spoken with divorce lawyers, frozen joint accounts, and restructured our assets. When I was done, she would leave with nothing. The final step arrived when Margaret declared she'd spend the weekend at a wellness retreat. I nodded with false indifference, but the instant she left, I set everything in motion. That weekend, she and Walter checked into a lavish suite nestled in the snow-tipped Swiss Alps. What they didn't know was that the booking was under my name. The costs charged to Margaret's account. Cameras discreetly placed by my investigator captured every detail. Champagne toasts on the terrace, tender embraces, whispered confessions. From the comfort of my study, I observed it all. The crackling fire, the whiskey in hand, and the undeniable evidence unfolding on the screen. By the end of their perfect weekend, I had everything necessary. When Margaret came home, her arrogance was palpable. She hardly glanced at me as she brushed past, carrying herself like someone convinced she had triumphed. Headed for the bedroom to unpack. Followed my movement, steady but deliberate. "How was the retreat?" asked, my voice calm though edged with a quiet gravity. She froze mid-motion, her shoulders tensing as she turned toward me. "Fine," she muttered, her voice brittle and tight. Leaning against the doorway, I lifted my phone. The screen displayed an incriminating image of her and Walter on the balcony. Champagne glasses raised in a mockery of celebration. Tilting my head slightly, my tone sharp and unwavering, I said, "Some retreat." Her complexion drained, her confidence collapsing as she stared at the evidence. The silence thickened, heavy and choking, as she realized her betrayal could no longer hide in shadows. And for the first time in years, something stirred inside me. Clarity, freedom, and the certainty that this chapter of my life was ending. I cut her off before she could weave excuses. "I don't need explanations, Margaret," I said coldly. "I have all the proof I need. What I want now is justice." My words lingered like blades, and I saw the cracks forming in her composure. Her eyes darted to the phone in my hand, her bravado faltering. "Robert, there's more to this than you think," she whispered, her voice shaking. I arched a brow, contempt woven through my calm reply. "Oh, I know. Seems my wife and her lover enjoy five-star resorts while pretending they're at wellness retreats." Her face blanched as I tossed the phone onto the bed. The screen glowed with damning images, and beside it sat a stack of receipts, photos, and documents that erased any doubt. She stumbled over an apology. "Please, Robert, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. A lapse." I silenced her, my tone cutting as, "Forgetting to lock the door is a mistake. Margaret, cheating on your husband 4 months is a calculated choice." Her eyes welled with tears as I handed her a folder. "Divorce papers. You'll notice," I said firmly. "You leave with nothing. No house, no accounts, not even the car you drive. All mine now." Her hands shook as she flipped through the pages, shock unraveling into desperation. "You can't do this," she choked. I leaned closer, my voice low, unyielding. "Oh, but I can, and I already did. The lawyers confirmed it's airtight. While you wasted time with Walter, I was securing what's mine." Margaret's face twisted, anger and despair clashing in her eyes. "We've been married 15 years, Robert. You can't just erase that." I didn't flinch. "You erased it the moment I wasn't enough for you," I answered, my voice steady and cold. "You made your choices. Now you'll live with them." Turning to the door, I paused briefly. "And while you struggle to salvage the wreckage, don't count on Walter. He has his own storm coming." As I walked away, Margaret's world began to collapse. But her downfall was only the beginning. Walter, her partner in deceit, had his reckoning waiting. The evidence from their weekend wasn't just personal, it was professional. Walter had billed company funds for their luxury escapes, charging lavish meals and suites to his corporate account. Gathered it all into a precise dossier and sent it anonymously to his board. Within days, chaos erupted. Walter was terminated. His once polished reputation in real estate was reduced to rubble. Whispers of corruption spread swiftly. Contracts dissolved, deals crumbled, and his name became poison. The man who once radiated charm was now an outcast. Margaret wasn't spared either. Few quiet conversations with mutual friends ensured her infidelity became common knowledge. Those who once admired her grace now regarded her as a warning. Invitations vanished. Her flawless image shattered. With no wealth and no allies, Margaret moved into a modest Zurich apartment. Her messages grew frantic, voicemails begging for forgiveness, emails drenched in hollow remorse. I never replied. Meanwhile, my life found new clarity. The house that once felt like a prison became a refuge. I rekindled old friendships, pursued hobbies I had abandoned, and rediscovered the simple joys of living. One evening, sipping whiskey on the balcony, I allowed myself reflection. Margaret's betrayal had been a wound, raw and searing. But it had also been a revelation. Love without respect is empty, and trust, once shattered, can never be restored. Revenge had its taste, but it wasn't what liberated me. Letting go of anger, of the weight of a hollow marriage, had done that. Months later, I saw Walter in a cafe. He looked haggard, his swagger replaced by a weary slump. He avoided my gaze, paid for his coffee, and slipped away silently. Watching him leave, I felt no rage, only pity. He had gambled everything and lost. Margaret had too. Now they both lived among the ruins of their choices. I raised my glass, smiling faintly. Betrayal had ended my marriage, but it hadn't destroyed me. If anything, it forged me stronger. The lesson was clear. Some wounds cut deep, but they reveal who we are and what we truly deserve.